So they say that love heals all. So before we start the service tonight, I want you to take all that love that you feel in your heart and send it to the friends and the family in Florida for the 17 high school children that were killed today by a gunman. And there's many more of them in the hospital in critical condition. And I just can't even imagine what that would be like, you know. So let us take a moment of silence. Take that love that's in your heart, and let's just hold them in that love. Love and comfort and healing. Thank you. Good evening and welcome to Wednesday's Wisdom, Practicing the Presence. And this is where we practice. We practice how to be that love, how to do that love, and how to express that love, because we're all spiritual beings and that's our job, just to be that love that God is. My name is Judy Chapman. I'm one of the assistant ministers here at the center. I'm so glad you came on this Valentine's Day to join us, and Dave, I know this is going to be a very exciting talk tonight. So whoever you are, whatever path you're on, you are welcome here. We are all inclusive. We are trans-denominational, which simply means we include everyone. Everyone. So our practitioner tonight is Pam Rock, and she will come up after our chant and open our service with an affirmative prayer. And in the Science of Mind teachings, we believe that the affirmative prayer, or spiritual mind treatment, whatever you choose to call it, is one of the most powerful tools we have to transform our lives. Because we know what we can think about, we bring about. And if we change our thinking, we can change our life. So she's also available after the service for about 15 minutes if you so choose to have a small, a quick session with her. If you have some obstacles or mental blocks or something in your path to all your good, she can clear that path for you just by knowing the truth of who you are. So we'll start with the chant, Jana, and there we go.
Still my mind, be at peace in my awakening. I release with my heart. Free my soul in my awakening. I am whole. Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om, Shanti Om, Shanti. Om Shanti Om, Shanti Om, Shanti Om, Shanti Om, Shanti Om. As I love, and as I give, I choose to live. I choose to live. If it makes me right. Shanti Om, Shanti Om, Shanti Om, Shanti Om, Shanti Om, Shanti.
And join me in an affirmative prayer as I know the truth. And what I know the truth to be is that there is truly one energy, one thing, one source that is in and as and of and through the entire universe now and always. I know that this one thing, some of us call it God or universal energy or Allah or Buddha or something else. I know that this one thing is absolute, eternal, unconditional love. I know that it is infinite source, infinite life. I know that it is the creative thing that inspires everyone and everything in the truest meaning of that word, inspire. I know absolutely that it is the source of all. It is my source, and it is the source of each of these beloveds in this room. It is the source of each of the beloveds everywhere, always. And so what I know, first of all, what I accept is that that unconditional, beautiful, sweet love is the thing that is my source. I fill myself up with that unconditional love, that beautiful life. I fill it up. I fill myself up so much that it spills over into this room and into this state, into this world, into this planet. My love, God's love, spills over. I know for each and every one of us that this evening is a time of that love, of sharing, of oneness, of kinship, of beauty and grace. I know for each of us that there is that revealing of beauty, of love, of wisdom, and of strength. And I'm so grateful for this. I'm grateful for the wisdom and the love that we share this evening. I'm grateful for the healing and the beauty and the kinship in this room right now. I know that it is done as I've spoken my word, for that's the way the law works. It always works this way. I speak my word or someone speaks their word, and that beautiful creative mind always says, yes, my beloved. Yes, my beloved. Yes, my beloved. I let my word go. I let it be as together we say,
And so it is.
So it is.
Now I have a quick demonstration to share. As a lot of us know, one of our beloveds here fell and broke her arm a few weeks ago, I think a month or so ago. And so of course immediately the prayer goes out for healing, but the prayer was fairly specific in that everything was to be in alignment. All of the bones and everything in alignment. Alignment. And so when the time came for this beloved person to have the arm casted, everything was in alignment. The only thing was there was a little something twisted. But all of the bones were in perfect alignment. And so the cast went on and the healing began. And that's the demonstration.
Thank you, Pam. Well, this is Valentine's Day, and I have just a few things to say about my favorite quotes. Some of those that we showed on the screen, but some of them were pretty good too. But the one I've always loved is 1 Corinthians 13:4. Love is patient, love is kind. Love does not envy, nor does it boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. And it keeps no records of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. And now these three remain: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. Now, as I was looking through my packet of all the stuff I've had over the years, I found this, The Art of Love, that Reverend Jeff Lang shared with us maybe 3 years ago. Love is the affirmative of the affirmations. It enlarges the vision, expands the heart. Love is the dove of peace, the spirit of brotherhood. It is tenderness and compassion, forgiveness and tolerance. Love is the dynamic motivation behind every worthy purpose. It is the upward thrust that lifts men to the heights. The art of love is God at work through each one of you. And with that said, Our speaker this evening is a composer, a musician, businessman, and also a practitioner here at our center. Please welcome Dave Friedman and this little crazy thing called love. Crazy little thing called love.
I wasn't ready. Good evening, good evening, good evening. I'd come out here, I can see you guys. Those of you that have dogs, you love your dogs, yeah? A lot? You love your spouses? A lot?
Of course.
Do they love you? How do you know? Here's a way to find out. Put your dog and your spouse in the trunk for 3 hours and see which one's happy to see you when you let them out. Thanks for coming out tonight. I appreciate it's nice to see y'all. Coming out to hear, a single guy talk about love, right? What's that all about? In the English language, there is one word for love. You know what that is? Love. Love, right? Absolutely. And there's a plethora of possibilities for miscommunication with this word. For instance, there's, I love you, which is what we say to people that we feel deeply about. But you got to be careful with that one. Because there's, I love you, but I'm not in love with you. Or, I love you, but not in that way. And then there's I love you, Mom, and that's not to be confused with, girl, I love you, which is different from, I love you, man. It's really, it's crazy to think that we're confused to even consider the possibility that we might be in love at all. The Greeks are working it. They've got 6.5 words, different words for love. There's philia, deep friendship love. That's the, I love you, man, kind of love. And there's a subset of that called storge, which is the kind of love that we have with our kids and our close family people. There's ludus, playful love. This is a fun kind of love that we have when we're flirting and teasing in the beginning stages of a relationship. But we also live our ludus when we're in a bar doing that dance with somebody else. Dancing is something. Dancing with strangers is also the ultimate ludic activity. Almost a playful substitute for sex itself. A little more ludus might just be what we need in this world, right? Pragma, a long-standing love that comes over time. This is the kind of love that you make compromises, you have tolerance and patience. It develops over a long period of time with married couples. Back in the day, I guess, when you were arranged marriages and you didn't have a choice, you stuck with it. Remember in the Tradition, what was that movie? Tradition. Thank you. And they talk about the one scene where he goes, do you love me? Remember that? She says, well, I cooked your clothes, I cleaned your house, I guess I love you. Pragma. Philatia, third kind of love. It's the love of self. There's actually 2 types of this. One is like a healthy self-esteem, comfortable with yourself, you know who you are kind of love. The other side of it, which is less healthy, is more of a self-obsessed kind of a narcissistic kind of a love. We might know somebody who's like that. There's agape love. True, absolute, complete love. Universal, unconditional, transcendent love. And then there's eros, sexual passion. Ooh, yeah. Greeks named this after the goddess of fertility, and they were a little unnerved by this one because it involves a loss of control. which is kind of counterintuitive to me because isn't loss of control what we want? Don't we want to be in a relationship that we fall madly in love and we've just lost it? The Greeks suggested that a relationship may begin with eros and ludus and then evolve towards embodying more pragma or agape. There's actually more. In the Aramaic language, the language of Jesus, there are two expressions of love. One is Kuba love. Does it sound like a song? Kuba love. Kuba love is an attitude of wanting, a burning wish to love unconditionally, an intention to have complete openness to seeing others in a complete, loving, and non-judgmental way, and giving attention to the good in others and in oneself and in life. Kuba opens the door, opens the channels for love to flow. It develops the heart center. And without Kuba, the mind tends to scan only for the badness in various, sometimes devious ways. And with it, our minds focus on the good energy stored in our memories about a person and de-emphasizes the negative. Kuba. So in Kuba love, one concentrates solely on the positive in a given situation or with a particular person. And then that love leads to Rachma, the unconditional love of the heavenly source and all living things. It does not demand to be loved or rewarded in any way in return. It is a pure love which contains a deep, inexplicable understanding of the innermost reality of another person. I think that Rachma love is closely aligned with agape love. So what do we consider love, really? The most familiar type of love that we know is the feeling of closeness and affinity that happens between two people, generally between two people, but let's not limit it. Is love more than an idea, a thought, a feeling, or a lifestyle? Try this. I live a lifestyle of love. That feels good, huh? A lifestyle of love. Admit it. Love owns us. We can't control it. We want it more than anything. And then we don't even know what it is that we want. And then when we look like we're about to get it, what happens? We get scared. Oh no. What if she doesn't love me the way I love her? Or what if after a while he's like really into me and I'm like, over it? Or the worst of all, what happens if this really is exactly what I'm looking for? Now what? We don't even know what to do about it. Love makes us do weird things. What's the strangest thing you've ever heard of somebody doing in the name of love? Things like driving across the country, leaving your family, everything from taking a bullet to somebody to raising kids. You've seen the movies, we've read the books. We might even have lived a couple of these adventures. What have you done strange in the name of love? You don't really need to share that right now.
Do you want to know?
Yes. Well, one time, back when I was a freshman in high school, I spent, like a couple of weeks going to this thing called the Teen Breakfast Club down at a local church. I was quite anti-church at the time, but I would get up at dark 30 and go down there because I wanted to get close to this girl. I didn't. Did later. The act of falling in love seems to be something we love to experience, or at least want to. And there's a few names for that. There's infatuation, over the moon, goo-goo eyes, she has stolen my heart. It's a weird visual with that, isn't it? There's some girl out there walking around with my heart in her hands, or in her pocket maybe, or I hope it's in at least a cooler. Shot by Cupid's bow is one. And my favorite, Twitter-pated. There's lots of songs about love, too. Falling in love is hard on the knees. Love hurts. You know, love don't come around here anymore. And then, love stinks. And I'm wondering, why do we want to continue to participate in this? And how does one even speak love? One could try the 5 love languages, and they are words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving, giving gifts, quality time, and physical touch. Most of these are nonverbal ways of showing affinity for another. You like that, affinity for another? That's like a fancy way of saying love. And then you can try some non-actual languages. No, not non-actual languages. These are actual love languages. Like the French, they say, je t'aime. And the Italians say, ti amo. And then there's some not so romantic languages. The Germans, ich liebe dich. So far, I've talked about the kind of love between two people. That's kind of what I call a doing kind of a love. In our New Thought, Ancient Wisdom philosophy, we embrace a different, dare I say, bigger idea of love. This, in my mind, is more about being. Some other names for what might be considered the noun of love is all that is, the thing itself, spirit, God, life. How does the love that is all there is manifest? It doesn't. It is. Everything comes from it. You may have heard of people who have had what has been described as a romantic experience. They're just completely overcome by love. Ever wonder, how does love feel? You tell me. How does one describe a feeling? You hurt your hand. Ow. What does that feel like? Well, it hurts. It's uncomfortable. It feels like, ow. Get it? No. Ernest Holmes did a great job, I feel, of trying to explain or describe what this overwhelming feeling of love would be. He was dedicating a church up in Whittier back in 1959 and had to actually stop his speech in the middle of it. That's a recording you can go listen to. And he was overcome with what he called a cosmic experience. And while involved in the beauty and grandeur of experiencing the highest degree of illumination he had ever known, he goes on to explain. While I was talking, I had the semblance of everything turning into a sort of shimmering light, and imagined myself, or maybe I was, as though severed from my body, looking down at myself talking and feeling this thin. I actually had the feeling that I was part of the stars and that I was part of everything. That I was part of the whole movement, the push and pull of the universe, but with a greater sense of self-awareness. Ernest explained, I thought I had a cosmic conscious experiences long before, but I know that this is truly now what it is. There was a complete and total recognition that there is no death, nothing but eternal life. I think I got that. That's more than just, he really understood what that was all about. I think that our purpose on this plane, in this incarnation, is to be love. Remember, love is, we are, one and the same. I was looking for some quotes. I found a Rumi quote. Actually, I found 2. I couldn't decide which one to use, so if one Rumi quote is good, 2's better, right?
That's right.
This is what I'm thinking. Love is the bridge between you and everything. And then he says, your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. I think that's a lot of the work that we do here. How do we live love? How do we give love? I can't stand up here in this room and give a talk about love without quoting Ernest from page 229 of the textbook, because he says, God of love cannot hear the prayer of the one who fails to love. That one's for Dr. Heather. It's her favorite. So we live love. We do love. We live love in the Kuba way. Remember Kuba? The attitude of wanting to love unconditionally. So we do love by being compassionate, accepting, kind, and we do these things and more consciously. Do them on purpose, over and over and over again, until these acts of doing become part of our everyday being. We no longer have to think about it. It just becomes part of who we are. And by the very nature of this activity, we will reveal the love that is. We will reveal the love that we are. So when we love, when we accept and allow the love that we are, we become light. We allow that light to come through us. We transmit it and we exemplify it. And I think that when we partner up with another, when we fall in love, what happens is we do so because the light in me is attracted to the light in you. And together our individual lights burn stronger. When I say I love you from this place of agape love, that means I accept you as you are. To be in love, to have love, to share love, is to be completely true, open, vulnerable. Can you imagine being with your partner during a time when you feel completely raw and trusting them to treat you with care and respect, kindness, and compassion? That is unconditional love. They are completely giving. And in this moment, you feel free to completely take. And together we've created this complete circle of oneness. That is a complete merging of two souls. The sharing experience can only be described as love, and I think that if we are open, it doesn't necessarily have to be an intimate relationship, though it does create a certain kind of intimacy. And these moments, we don't have words for that. That's just a beautiful feeling, that one is. And when we do that, that kind of merges the two categories of love into one. Giving is love is giving, love gives everything always. There is enough. The act of giving is an act of love. And as we know in spirit, size doesn't matter. Receiving is an act of love. And when we don't receive, we're actually taking away the act of giving from the one who's trying to give. That's a lesson I actually had to learn. You want some of this? I'm good. They're like this. It's like, you want some of this? Thank you. Whether I want it or not, I'm allowing them to do that. I've noticed that sometimes we're very good at giving to others. When someone says they want to lose weight, you sure you want to eat that? Or you wanted to work out, go to the gym, right? But when it comes to us, I'm going to eat it. I'm going to make excuses that I don't have to go to the gym. So why don't we treat ourselves with the same love and respect and compassion that we give to other people? That's just weird. Almost as hard as Rubik's Cubes. Sometimes love just sneaks up on you. Hello, I'm here. Sometimes it whacks up and comes out, bam, pay attention to me. Pay attention to me, right? Do you feel that you love yourself? Do you even know what that means? I bet you've looked deeply into the eyes of a loved one, deep into their soul, drank of their essence, bathed in their light, and told them very deeply, I love you, with feeling. Turn that on yourself. Do the mirror thing. Look at a mirror. Look deep into your eyes, deep into your own soul. Drink of your own essence. Bathe in your own light. And tell yourself, I love me, I love you. And if you really want to take it to the next step, come up with a couple of reasons why. This is a very, very powerful practice, connecting you to light itself. RuPaul says, if you don't love yourself, how the hell are you going to love anybody else? Paul McCartney says, the love you take is equal to the love you make. Love is a very many-faceted, very many-splendored thing. Enjoy it. Embrace it. Spread it. Share it. And as we share it, it grows. There cannot be too much love. It is who we are.
Oh, yes. Well, this is why we call it Wednesday's Wisdom, because there's a lot of wisdom in that talk. I wrote down Rachma. I had not heard of that one before. Almost like agape love. And Kupa, wanting to be that love. There were so many things. I'm glad it's being live streaming because I can go back and, make my list again on what it was. And by the way, yeah, that would be German, but this is Danish. Ja, elsker. So I just want to let you know. That's the Danish way to say I love you. Let's give him another hand. That was fabulous. Let me see.
I don't think that's right.
What?
That's not right.
Oh, that's not right. Then I won't look at there. Okay. Ah, wonderful. Okay, it's time for our offering.
Do we have any music tonight?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, could we have a little music, Dave? You want to play something on the piano?
Really good.
Someone would make. Everybody really wanted you to play just a little something. Let me give the offering and then help. Let's see. Sandy, would you grab the baskets there and they're behind.
Here they are.
And bring them up here.
Where's Harry?
Thank you. Thank you. I'll put you to work. Thank you. Thank you. So as we take our gift in our hand, we can feel its energy. We can feel that this is love in expression. It's just another form. So many forms of God. This is the currency. This is the flow. And we're grateful tonight for the opportunity to feel that love that was spoken of by Dave. To feel it at the deep center of our soul. To feel that God love and to express it. So please say with me, my offering is my acceptance of God as the source of my supply, and it symbolizes my faith in the abundant flow of this supply. Thank you. Just pass it on. Go ahead.
So I was going to do something else this evening, but I have way too many requests for this, so last night we put this together. This thing called love, I can't just handle it. This thing called love, I must get around to it. I ain't ready. There's this thing called love. This thing called love, it comes in the cradle all night. It swings like chimes. It shakes all over like a jellyfish. I kinda like it. There's nothing called love. There goes my baby. She knows how to rock and roll. She drives me crazy. hot, cold sweat. Gotta be cool, relax, get hit, get on my tracks, take a backseat, hitchhike, take a little ride on my motorbike till I'm ready. There's nothing gotta be cool, relax, get hit, get on my tracks, take a backseat, hitchhike, take a long ride on the motorbike until I'm ready. Ready to little thing called love. This thing called love. I just can't handle it. This thing called love. I must get around to it. I'm ready. Crazy little thing called love. Crazy little thing called love. Crazy little thing called love. Crazy little thing called love.
Yes. Thank you. Couldn't let you out the door without doing a piece. Thank you so much. Okay, I want to tell you that next week it is Reverend Arpad, and his topic is the courage to imagine. So I'll see you here next. Oh, I won't see you. Oh well, I'll see you here next Wednesday at 7 o'clock, and it's going to be a great evening. So now we're going to get in a circle, and we're going to sing Holy Holy.
You won't see them, I won't see them.
I won't see them, but
People will see them.
they'll hear you.